almost have to recruit guys, it looks like, who already are almost ready. I mean,
we have that luxury.
Yeah, that's what.
We have more of that luxury. I mean, there's lots of good football players out there, and they're at all different stages of development.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So this kid who's 16, who in 2 years may be better than the guy that's ahead of him when he's 16. You don't know that. I mean, that's the piece that's the wild card in recruiting. That's why recruiting, there's a lot of mistakes, because there's some projection to every single kid. Lineman, probably more projection than any position.
Yeah.
Because a 16-year-old, 250-pound lineman can be a 305-pound offensive lineman when he's 18. But that's not a guarantee. Just every kid who's 250 that walks down the hall doesn't guarantee he's going to be 305 and carry it well and be able to move.
So is it a roll of a dice a little bit? I mean, with linemen,
yeah, you try to minimize that as much as you can. I mean, looking at all the factors involved, there's a lot of factors involved. I mean, genetics, body frame, work ethic, body composition, parents, brothers, mean, all the different factors, that you have to look at in trying to project where you think this guy will be down the road. And you try to see what those are. I mean, if there's no father around and there's no brothers around and there's nothing around, then it's a little bit more of a flyer when you project what he's going to be in 2 years. Relationship with the coach, and that is important. Size of their feet, size of their hands. Some guy with size 16 feet that weighs 250 probably is going to get a lot bigger. Some guy with size 13 feet that's 250 may not get as big. You got to look at different things, hand size.
It's the old Jim Lachey thing. I mean, he was a sprinter in high school, but he was all pro as an offensive tackle.
Exactly. And there's but for every case of that coming true, there's one or two cases that not coming true, and you got to minimize that to the best of your ability. Because
one of the quick thing I wanted to ask you, in y'all's offensive meetings as you came out of the last season and headed into the spring and stuff, where was a little bit of a different focus or change, or y'all wanted to get to in the spring and stuff, and did y'all get there?
Become better fundamentally, because now we aren't trying to learn our system, we're trying to perfect our system. So we want to become better fundamentally. We wanted to continue to develop our ability to throw the football, quarterback development there, as a leader, as a passer, develop our receiving core. So take that phase, because inevitably if we are good at running the football and we're good at passing the football, then we're going to be real hard to stop on offense. If we aren't as good at one as the other, then people can try to load up and stop one and then make you play to the other. And so having the ability to be good at both. So we made a conscious effort to try to improve that area. And
did you get there, you think?
We took great strides in that. Are we there yet? No, we're not there yet. But we took strides. It was obvious in the spring game by the number of passes that really isn't the composition of what we'll be when we're trying to win games, but that was what the mindset was for the spring game, is to try to put guys in situations and see how they perform. And I saw a lot of development there, so I think we're making progress to get really good at both areas, running and passing the football.
What's the biggest concern you have before the games actually count? What over the next few months, what's like the number one thing that you're most concerned about with your group?
I don't really have any concerns that keep me awake at night, other than that I hope that they all continue to work as hard as they've worked, because January, February, and March and April, you wouldn't think we didn't work like a 12-0 team. We worked like a team that was hungry, that had a chip on our shoulder, that had something to prove. So I love that about our kids. If they continue to do that, then I feel good about where we'll be. I hope that every guy has a personal mission to become better, but I don't lay awake at night saying, oh my goodness, if this doesn't happen, we're going to be this or this or this. I don't have a lot of that, because I think everything's in place in positions, personnel, and system, and the work ethic of our kids and their attitude and mentality is good. So I feel like that if we just keep that edge and carry it all through the summer into the season, it's going to be fine.
Corey Lindsley, he hadn't played a whole lot the first couple of years he was at Ohio State, and then for him to come through the way he did last year, what were the things that he put together in the offseason that allowed him to be prepared to have the year he had?
Well, he developed consistency, in his work habits, his mentality, how he, prepared for the game, his off-the-field decisions, how he took care of himself, all those type of things all came into play. I mean, he matured a lot. I think he realized that, to be a really good football player, that was important to him. What do I need to do? And we helped guide him, and he followed the plan. And so he's a perfect example of a guy who followed the plan and did the right things, and credits to him of sticking to it, how hard he worked. But he's epitome of a made football player in terms of hard work in the weight room, hard work in the classroom, extra time on his own, doing a lot of things, and wasn't a center. So, I mean, ask him to learn how to snap. We taught him how to do it, and then he had to go do it on his own. And next thing you know, I mean, he's snapping the ball and knows how to play center. And so that's been good too. I mean, because that's not an easy task in a shotgun, to do that. So just complete transformation of a guy.
At right tackle, was the lack of consistency the most concerning thing this spring? What was the biggest thing?
Well, you'd like to see somebody just say, clearly define that as their position and take it and be heads and tails above everybody else. But that also takes time, and that also, you're comparing whoever the right tackle is to four guys who started. You know what I mean? The right tackle right now isn't that much different than the guys who weren't starters last year that were trying to earn a starting job. They just have a heads up on him because we watched them play for 12 games, so they have developed a consistent pattern of performance.
How confident are you
But
that those right tackles can take that step forward?
Very confident. Very confident.
You think something kind of like Reed Frigg last year, you think those guys have that same kind of potential to develop into the quality of player that he
Yes.
was last year?
The only difference is Reed was a senior. There's a difference between a fourth-year guy in the program and a second-year guy in the program in terms of just physical maturity and, raw strength and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know how strong Fragel was when he was the spring of his freshman year. I know how strong he was as the spring of his senior year, but there's 3 years of difference in time. So, I mean, I think that we'll be pretty solid there. We'll be just fine there when it's all said and done. But, I mean, those guys still just have to continue to work because the bar is high for the other positions, so they got to catch up to those other positions, not just earn a starting job. They got to play at a high level like those other guys have been. Yeah. Thank
Andrew
you.
Norwell, just want to ask about him. He was a blue chip guy coming out of Anderson. I don't know if you recruited him when you were at Notre Dame, and
Right. I coached his brother at Illinois.
Okay, a lot was expected of him, and now he'll be, it seems, a 3-year starter here. Just from when you picked up here a year and a half ago to now, just what have you seen with him really develop?
Real change in his mentality to the game in terms of his off the field and on the field habits, workouts, training methods, taking care of his body, being more of a pro. And everything we've asked him to do, he's done with a real passion and energy to improve. So, I mean, he's a great kid, a great example of you can change and become better and improve. And so there's a first-team all-conference guy, I said this earlier, that has improved quite a bit in the off-season and had a great spring and is becoming a leader too for us. So yeah, I mean he's going to be what everybody recruited him thought he was going to be. He's going to be that, and it just maybe he needed a little wake-up call to get there. But I mean, credit to him. He's the guy who has done the work and accepted the coaching and listened to the mentors he has here, and the proof is showing on the field.
Hey, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
See you.